I know certain ministries get huge flack. I know in recent times, like ministries like Michael Todd, he does. I know he does a lot of like gimmicks and props, and people look at ministries like that and say, "Look, you know what? Like that's a problem." Do you think it's bad to use expensive gimmicks and props in a sermon to attract people? Firstly, this is a financial question first and foremost, right? And when it comes to finance, books like Proverbs and other places as well in the scriptures give us good insight. So, firstly, I'm of the opinion that it's not wise flatly to like just go into debt for activities, right? It's not the most wisest thing. It's frowned upon, right? So if you're basically spending a whole load of money getting yourself in debt for gimmicks and props to basically deliver a message, but it's costing you like huge debts, I wouldn't advise that. Now, if you have an abundance of money and it's within the like your financial budget, now the decision moves a little bit because it's not about am I going to go into debt? No, it's is this a wise use of my money? Right now, we know just from the get go, God is not against expensive things, expensive purchases. Right, um, the the tabernacle, for example, right, was fashioned with gold. The temple, different things God has ultimately set up were fashioned with gold, expensive equipment. Right, we know that in the New Testament, Jesus, for example, was anointed for his burial, as he said, with expensive ointment, right? And the disciples were basically saying, look, this was a waste. And Jesus said, no, like you have the poor with you always, but this was a good deed. And this will be a testament and given as a testimony, if I remember correctly, wherever this gospel is ultimately preached, right? So it was a good thing. So spending money for godly things is not necessarily a bad thing. But is it always a wise thing? If you haven't got the money, then I would say no. If you have got the money, is it wise? Are you going to spend a lot of money on these expensive props and gimmicks to the detriment of people in your congregation who are extremely strapped or struggling, right? When you can help them, right? So these are the things we have to basically think about and consider. We talked about this previously, being led by the Holy Spirit, right? I wouldn't just look at a ministry like Michael Todd and said, look, you know what, he's spending loads of money or XYZ to kind of get an experience. That automatically makes him false. No, right? Because anyone can do this. But is it a wise investment of your money? Is it a wise investment of your time? And ultimately, what is the purpose? Is this truly to glorify God, or is this for something else? These are things we have to ascertain and decide, and that will get us closer to the conclusion. But as always, Christians, be led by the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will guide us and lead us into all truth ultimately.